Hey everyone, welcome back to Tuesday. I'm Tasha with Butterfield Alpaca Ranch. Today I'm going to show you some footage of alpaca births that I've collected over the years. And since it's wintertime, not a whole lot is going on at the ranch other than just trying to stay warm. I thought it'd be a good chance to show you some of it. Alpaca births are pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and they do not require human intervention the vast majority of the time. So here is Thor when he is about a week old, and there is Jewel, and she's about 3 weeks old. And you'll see here Jewel is larger than average, and Thor was smaller than average. But Thor's mom was petite there, so it was no surprise, and he looks just like her now. Most alpaca births happen in the morning between 7 and 11 a.m. Alpaca pregnancies last on average 11 and a half months. There's not exact dates. There's a wide range of possibilities of when births can come, how long pregnancies are. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But on average, it's 11 and a half months, and the moms can be rebred 2 weeks after delivery. So she can be pregnant year-round, nursing a cria, which is what we call baby alpaca, and then carrying a cria for, most of the time, as long as her body can handle keeping up with that. There's 3 stages to alpaca pregnancy. First of all, the pre-labor is where she's starting to look uncomfortable. She separates herself from the herd. She might get up and down a lot, rolling around in the dirt, going to the poop pile, and nothing comes out. You just kind of start to notice behavior that, is an indication that something is happening. And then the second stage is actually contractions start to show. And then you're about to see some graphic images of when the babies very first present. So be forewarned. There is Belle. This is the perfect textbook image. When the baby first presents, you should see the head and the front feet. And she's going to dangle there for a little bit. Here, her mother, whose name was Star Dancer, she was a first-time mom, so she's trying to figure out what's going on back there. This is not familiar to her. And then this is Star Dancer's mom, Toy Dancer. So she was there and, trying to see what's going on. Alpacas are very inquisitive, so if there was a lot of alpacas around, they would all want to see what's going on. Even though mom has separated herself, everyone else is going to be very curious. But here, Star Dancer is saying, I want my space. All right, so the next part that you want to see with an alpaca birth is where the cria is actually hanging, dangling from the mom for a little while. And that's important because it allows gravity to kind of drain out the lungs and get all the fluids out that no longer need to be there. So the baby can breathe properly and, everything's going to function the way that it needs to. And oftentimes it is a dramatic fall to the ground. You'll see most of the time moms are standing up like this, which is good because of that gravity factor I was talking about. But in the case of like Riley's mom, she was also a first-time mom, and she was cushed on the ground as Riley was starting to come out, and I had to get her up because, I wanted this situation where gravity was going to work in Riley's favor. Okay, I cut off this video here shortly because Belle gets her legs all wrapped around her head, and I had to go help. All right, next you see, the cria would start to move around, kind of get a feel for their body. You can tell that when they're born, they're all legs, pretty much. A very little body, a long neck, and a long legs. Lots of legs there. And that's, what they have to figure out first is getting stable on their legs, walking around. That's their first job, is to get up and walk, and that typically happens within about a half an hour. And then their second job is to go find the milk bar, what we call the milk bar. Go find mama's teats where all the milk is and get that great colostrum that they need right from the start. Something you'll notice is that the babies are born with kind of a sac around them. There's like this membrane on their body from being in the uterus, and this is one part where you can intervene if you want to go in with the towel and kind of wipe that off them, especially if it's still on their nose or on their face somewhere where it's going to inhibit the function of their body. There, you kind of want to get all that off. Besides, you see grass and stuff kind of stick into their body, and that's not good. So you just kind of clean them up a little bit, but you want to give mom and baby time to bond. You really don't want to interfere very much at all. This is a time where I would also go in with a little cup of iodine and dip the umbilical cord in that to dry it out, and to kind of close it up quickly so that, you know, bacteria and all that stuff won't enter their body through that. But that is pretty much what you do when they're born. It's mostly hands off unless you see something that you really need to intervene. But like I said before, most of the time, you don't have to do that. You just sit back and watch and take videos. And now we're on to Riley, and he's trying to get a sense for his legs. And, you know, like I said before, it takes about a half an hour for them to kind of get a feel for how their legs work. And then they go looking for the milk bar, and I have really good footage here of him doing that in just a bit. But in the meantime, while baby's figuring out their body, mom is waiting for the placenta to pass, and that would be the third stage of labor. And that usually happens about an hour after delivery. And it's important that that passes, and that when it does, it's intact. If it's not, you know, that is a time to call the vet over, because that does leave mom open to bacteria and different sicknesses, and you want her to be healthy with a new baby. And there's that suckling action going on. He does find it eventually. He does. And he gets his colostrum, so he gets all the antibodies and all the goodness from his mama, and a full belly. And there he is. This is really about a half an hour after, and he's doing really well. You know what? This is not a half an hour yet. That's coming up still. This is probably about 10 minutes in, I'm guessing, if I remember right. So you'll notice that mom does not lick the baby. Mom also does not eat the placenta. We carry that away. So those are a few things that make alpacas a bit different. But mom and baby bond is very strong, as you know, with most animals. And there you have Riley running for the first time. Him later on his birthday, and then this is the day after his birth, where he's all dried up and he's really learned his legs and likes to fly. Him and Belle were the two Krias that just love to run. It was like their favorite thing to do. It was so funny because he'd run, especially Riley, he'd run around, "Look, Mom, look what I can do." So cute. The average Cria when they're born weighs about 15 pounds, if you were wondering about that. So, you know, they're not very big, but they grow pretty fast, just like most babies do. They'll be weaned in about 6 months. Yeah, so that's how long usually they get to stay with their mom. Thanks for joining us today on Paca Tuesday. Have a great day.